March 22nd, the year of our Lord 2022, and this is the Randcast, our version of the podcast for Premier Pro Wrestling. While you're here on YouTube, would you please hit the like button and subscribe, and I guess go ahead and hit that notification bell. You kids are talking about that notification bell these days. I don't know. I have all...
Notification.
I started following this new thing on Instagram called Dad Jokes. Did you see it?
No.
So the joke of the day is, what has 5 toes and is not your foot, Casey?
5 toes and is not my foot. I don't know.
My foot. There you go.
Great
Cha-ching.
bad dad joke.
That's a fucking awesome joke. So let's, I don't know. We got to fuck with our classification on Patreon. It wasn't set up by me. It was set up by somebody who, another one that smells it but can't quite find it. You know, if you're going to apply all this energy to something and you have no product knowledge or activity knowledge, it's not going to work. So you can't make the commitment and then in 3 months, it's not working, Felicia's. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do a lot, and that pertains to the wrestling industry before you're a wrestler, you know. But anyway, so we got to put ourselves, I would say, in political and comedy. And I have no issues touching on political stuff. I mean, no issue with touching on it at all. Even though the internet wrestling community seems to be leaning left, you know, i.e., this don't fat shame, but it's okay to fat shame. Mostly don't fat shame. Adam Cole calls himself a wrestler who has more of a dad bod than my 60-year-old ass has a dad bod, you know. Anyway, yeah, we need to do that. So, you don't know shit about local politics, do you?
Well, since I've only been local for a little bit.
Okay. So, our congressperson, I believe your congressperson has to be the same as mine. Congressperson Lauren Underwood. And what a work. The reason I say it is because Peggy Hubbard went out and talked to the Rockford Republicans and the Belvedere Republicans and the Belvedere Veterans Group. Mm-hmm. So Peggy Hubbard is running for state senate against Tammy Duckworth, another loser. So I figure it's got to be the same district.
Yeah.
You know, Rockford probably changes maybe. But anyway, it don't matter. She starts her career off collecting unemployment and then living in her parents' basement while she campaigned to run for Congress. And less than 2 terms later, she's a multimillionaire.
Wow.
How does that happen?
Don't know.
And I don't know why John Q. Public doesn't care. I think most people that know about it would care. And I ask all the time, how did you become a millionaire?
Yeah.
You know, it's a big cover-up, and it's a cover-up by ethics committee. It's a cover-up by the government, the Treasury Department, whatever. We should know every dime they make. They wanted Trump's tax returns so bad. Why can't I get my congressperson's tax returns to find out how she became a millionaire? Why? You know? Isn't that just ridiculous? Oh, a millionaire less than 4 years ago living in mom and dad's house.
Must have saved her money.
Yeah, right? And she doesn't give a shit about what goes on here, there, with the issues, really. She'll tag herself to the most popular things, but it's really about fundraising. It's about how much she can raise. I think what happens is this. I think after the campaign is over, whatever's left in the till or the kitty goes to them. That's what I honestly believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just makes me sick, and I think that's something people should be worrying about. And the same thing with Senator Tammy Duckworth. How can you say they're not corrupt? They're making $184,000 a year. They have the best health care. We pay their office employees whatever the hell once they're elected. Why could you not care, and why do you not think they're not corrupt and someone owns them? They do. There's strings attached to everything. For every action, there's a reaction. You know? And that's the factual basis. This stuff, does this concern you?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when I was a young guy, I could get away with saying, I don't give a shit, it's all a work. You know, but then come that divorce, man, you really find out what's up when you're left without an attorney. You've got to defend yourself, and you got to fight like hell, you know, in the custody battle. You know, and that's when you really get that dose of politics and see that nobody really gives a shit about anything. It's a very rare individual. I'm going to say 1 out of the 50 that I've known and ran into that actually give a shit about making a difference. It's about money and status and ego, you know. So the problems with our district, we're in the 14th district, it's never going to change. The Republican before this son of a bitch was a guy by the name of Randy Holgren. And when he first got elected as our congressperson, he's a Republican. There's articles putting this guy over named Nick Provenzano in the first term, you know. Randy did nothing. The same thing. I figured out the hard way. He was just about the money and the popular topics that create revenue for him, you know. Fast forward the second term, right before the damn election when he lost to Underwood, Nick Provenzano busted in Crystal Lake with a 17-year-old boy he met on Grindr. Mr. Provenzano was topless making out with the boy in a cul-de-sac in Crystal Lake. But the age of consent is 17 or 17 and a half, so no charges were drawn up. Right. But this guy, Nick Provenzano, was like the rock star fundraiser. And Holgren's not the only one the guy made, if you know what I'm saying. So this guy, Nick Provenzano, also made Joe Walsh. Remember the Congressman Joe Walsh? He was your former congressman. Nobody ever called Walsh out on that. You know, everybody knows in there and in politics, without Nick Provenzano, there wouldn't have been a Joe Walsh. And Nick's got a wife and kids and all that too, by the way. Yeah. You know? So I started to look up, and the only information I could find is Nick's making $80,000, $80,000 and change from the taxpayer. And then Nick was getting another $80,000 and change per year from Holgren's fundraising campaign. But here's the thing. Here's why you can't commingle that shit and it shouldn't be legal. How do we know which 80,000 he's working for at what time of the day? Because he's not in the office for that first 80 working on our dime. He's out campaigning on something that they creatively call community outreach, along with the rest of the office. The rest of the office that we pay on our tax dollar with Lauren Underwood today and going back in every state, they're being paid by us to campaign from now until November. On us. That's the number one priority, is taking the fundraising calls and whoever goes out with them to do their personal appearances. Cha-ching, fuck you, pay me. So that's it. Right or left, you should give a shit. There's absolutely no way that a congressperson or anybody in Congress or Senate that's become a millionaire is not corrupt. That's corruption at its finest. Somebody owes them, and there's always strings attached. You know, now let's talk about this. What about this? This occurred to me. So this is hypothetical. So before you start any rumors to try to bury me about being gay or bi, or if you say I hate the gay community or bi or LGBTQ XYZ, you know, I don't give a fuck. It's hypothetical. So if I dream of penis, Casey, I'm dreaming of penis. I wake up and go, I got to stop dreaming about penis. I identify as a heterosexual, you know, and I actually go out and have sexual relations with women. What does that make me?
You have no control over your dreams. I don't think it makes you any. I mean, I don't.
What if these penis dreams really turn me on, man? I wake up, I had a wet dream. I wake up, I got to slap the salami or I can't function. Because I'm dreaming of penis. And
I don't know. Maybe you are. You might be. I can't help you. I don't know.
In my opinion, if that's the case, I'm making a conscious decision to be heterosexual. So one of these monsters that we created here that's out on the indies pimping himself and can't get booked anywhere, but in our town who that promoter just happens to run in the same nights we do to try to break our balls. And it's built around this kid selling 30 tickets. That's what, like, I didn't ask him about his sexuality. I could give a fucking rat's ass about your sexuality. Do you have heart or don't you? Are you an asshole or aren't you? Can I work with you and can you listen or not? That's all I give a shit about, you know? So he just comes up one day and randomly tells me, I gotta stop dreaming about women. I'm bi. I gotta stop dreaming about women. To me, that just says there's something wrong. You know, my ass is rushing for therapy quick, or I'm making a decision, you know. If I always dream about women, I don't know, I would feel like I have to force myself to have sex with a dude. I'm making a conscious decision, and that's what I'm trying to get to at the end of the day, is just this attention grabs. You know, I think that this critical race theory and this sexual education shit that we were talking about last week pops into their heads when they're in middle school. And then they get this stuff where they might be a little odd or different. Maybe they get bullied, or maybe they just don't fit in. And you're talking to a guy who just doesn't fit in, you know, who grew up not just fitting in. Just when I became obnoxious and crazy, I became fun because mostly due to alcohol and drugs. But then when I got sober, I found out I'm still a funny, crazy motherfucker. And, you know, most people like me, or if you spend enough time around me, even the people that don't like me, I'm infectious, you know. Even the people that can't stand me coin my phrases and statements all the time. But the point I'm trying to make is it's just ridiculous that that's how society works. You know, I don't ask you that, man. This ain't sex ed. You know what I mean? I want to train people, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So there I am. That's how the political kind of spins into wrestling, and the left is the one that's always pimping and pushing all this gay, bi, and racial shit. My senator, your senator last week, she posted something about the Asian internment camps during World War II. Which one was the one against Hitler? World War II.
Yeah.
Man, that asshole broad didn't say shit about Italians. The Italians shared the same goddamn internment camps. They went into the Italian homes and they took everything, threw them out of their homes, and they grabbed up the husbands and the sons and they stuffed them in the internment camps. Yeah. And then when they finally said, oh, well, we have nothing to hold them on, after calling them the enemy from within, they had nothing to go back to. They cleared out their bank accounts. They lost their jobs. They were homeless. Yeah. You know? That bothers me and drives me fucking batshit crazy, because 1940, my great uncles and my grandfather were all forced by their father, which there was 6 men, into the military so they wouldn't be locked up in internment camps. Mm-hmm. You know? So you're out there fundraising. What does that tell you if you're going to mention the Asians but not the Italians who are in the same camps? Yeah. You know? And I'll say this about the Italian community. You could call me out on this and tell me I'm an asshole. We didn't cry and bitch and piss and moan. You can look it up on the internet, Google search it, because everybody should know about it. The largest mass lynching in this country, in the history of this country, were Italians who were falsely accused, as it turns out, of killing the sheriff of New Orleans. They didn't care. They publicly lynched them. They publicly lynched 11 at the same time, after ripping more than 11 apart limb from limb in a crazy rabid crowd. They ripped off their arms, legs, heads, killed them.
Yeah.
You know? We don't read about that. That's not in any history fucking book. But Italians pick themselves up by the ass and get moving. It's, you know. And I'll also go ahead and say the same thing about the Irish. I'm part Irish too, of course, that's going to be it. But, you know, they were treated like slaves. And there was slaves, Irish slaves, you know what I mean, in the United States, you know. So that's it on that. You know what? I've been paying a lot of attention to the current climate of wrestling and all the internet scoops, because they're just so non-compelling and ridiculous, you know. Here, let me see if I can summarize it. Have you been paying any attention to that shit?
I mean, stuff pops up on Facebook, but I don't know. Okay. The credible sources, that's probably debatable.
Well, here's the bottom line. So let me sum it up in about 3 parts. Britt Baker I don't know what the fuck's up with Britt Baker, but I know she's always all over the place. And Thunder Rosa won some stupid belt. I think the TNT belt, which is named after the station, which is weird. And they both got color. I know that. I know Cody Rhodes did sign with WWE. No, he didn't sign with WWE. Yes, he did sign with WWE. No, he didn't sign with WWE. He's going back to AEW. Who gives a fuck?
That's why I don't really pay attention to it, because who the hell, it's always been like that. What are they? Who's reporting on it? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
And who gives a fuck either way? Because the bottom line, if he goes back to AEW, he doesn't mean a fucking thing, because they didn't know how to book him in the first place. And the Young Bucks fucked him over. I guarantee that's why he ended up leaving in the first place. If Vince hires him, he'll make money. You'll know who the fuck he is again. You know what I mean? That's that. And then what's the last thing? WrestleMania is going to make a shitload of money, no matter what anybody says. There's the current haps in wrestling.
Yeah.
What's up with our shit?
Well, we have, this past week, we had the semifinals for the PPW number one contenders tournament.
What the hell happened?
This Saturday night, it will be Jose Acosta versus Sensei for the number one contendership.
That alone's worth the price of admission.
Yes.
I'll put both of those guys against anybody in the industry today, anywhere in the world.
Yes.
They're both fucking talented.
Sensei had 2 matches this past Saturday night to get to that spot. His first 2-round matches, he defeated Adam Rosencrans.
Yeah, but that was competitive as fuck.
Well, I mean, Adam Rosencrans and
Willie.
Slick Willie in a triple threat, and then defeated Jesse Danger
Yeah.
to go on.
Yeah,
That was really good. 2 really good matches.
Outstanding. That triple threat was outstanding. It's going to be on Patreon within the next 24 hours, or it's probably going to be on Patreon by the time you hear this, so subscribe.
And then Jose Acosta defeated Brandon Campbell.
Fucking great match.
And, I'm sorry, Not Bad Chad in a triple threat to advance to the finals of the tournament.
Who did he work with?
Who?
Chad. I forget.
He was in the triple threat. I just said it.
Oh,
Jose
okay.
Acosta, Brandon Campbell,
Sorry.
and Not Bad Chad, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so let's see. It's either going to be Sensei or it's going to be Jose Acosta.
Yeah.
I, for one, I'm going to call that down the middle. It's anybody's game because they're both outstanding. That's going to be great. And we're going to go ahead and give them a 20-minute time limit.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting and that should be good. Then you got the Monsters.
Yes. They, after Jay Leon was defeated by Psycho Spawn, Humek.
Well, he made a good showing.
He had a good showing, very good showing.
Kid's green. He's doing good.
After the bell, Humek got in the ring and challenged Psycho Spawn. We had an impromptu match, which ended in a count out. So this Saturday night, we're going to have those two lock horns in a no count out match.
Yeah, let's see what
So
happens
that
there.
means-
That's a sight to behold because that's your larger than life. They're both really big
Hopefully
guys.
the Randatorium will be able to hold those two big men
And they're both unable to
in the building.
give an inch,
Yeah.
give an inch.
Yeah.
So that's that. That's what we got coming up Saturday. There'll be more. Keep checking back. We'll give you the whole lineup. And don't forget, and I'm going to say it like it's spelled in the sign or in the promotional material, separate the men from the boys.
Yes.
And that's going to be April 2nd.
Yes.
Poncho will face either Jose or
Jose Acosta or Sensei,
Sensei.
the Hispanic ace.
Yep.
He's on a bit of a roll. Still
then
has that
there'll be a whole-
championship. He's really shaping up to be a fine champion here in PPW.
Well, the guy's a good fucking wrestler.
Yeah.
He can wrestle, he can entertain, and again, versatile, can work with anybody, no matter, regardless of style, size. He's good.
Yeah.
He's formidable, and of course, he's just got that unlikableness about him. I don't see anybody cheer for him. Do you?
No.
That's kind of cool. All right, again, go ahead and get the rest of this podcast on Patreon. Premier Pro Wrestling on Patreon, where you can get a shitload of other matches and also this weekly podcast. Don't forget, like, subscribe, notification bell, and pro wrestling tees. We got a lot of shirts on pro wrestling tees that, again, we just don't market it properly. And I'm sorry, maybe someday I'll get there. I just don't have the energy to do all of it. I really wish the people that I could count on, that I count on to do this, that I could really count on them, because, you know, shirts, man, that's the biggest revenue stream, the only revenue stream Tony Khan has. Talk to you soon. March 22nd, the year of our Lord 2022, and this is the Randcast, our version of the podcast for Premiere Pro.